Black Desert in 2024. Let's talk all about Black Desert, if it's worth playing, if it's too late to start as a new player, or if it's worth coming back as a returning player. Black Desert is a huge open world sandbox MMO where you can pretty much do anything. There's a massive emphasis on action combat and life skills, which are the two main parts of this game. You can tame and breed horses to try and breed legendary horses. You can build ships and upgrade them and travel across the ocean fighting sea monsters. You could be a farmer and a chef making the greatest buff food in the game. Or you can take part in some of the most visually aesthetic action combat in the MMO genre. With so much on offer, Black Desert has held a very healthy player count of around 20,000 players on Steam for many years. However, with all of this, there is still a reputation that follows Black Desert around. And people are put off from playing the game because they believe they're too far behind, it's too grindy to catch up, and it's pay to win. So I want to go over all that today, talk about if that's really the case, and if it's worth playing in 2024. So first up, let's talk about the new player experience. As you join this as a new player, what do? First up, there are 27 characters to choose from classic well-known characters like archers, witches, wizards, warriors, that kind of thing, to really unique creations like Corsair, the pirate that can turn into a mermaid and summon like whales and stuff, or the sage that can open portals and throw lightning bolts. There's a ton of variety here, and I'd say there's something for everyone. The only thing to be aware of that's worth mentioning is that characters are locked to specific races. So if you want to be a berserker, you're a huge, hunched over, beastly man. And if you want to be a Dracania, you're kind of a slender woman. So that's worth mentioning if that kind of thing bothers you. Once you pick your class, you get into the most detailed character creator in any MMO, I would say. You can pretty much fine-tune everything here. Every detail has a bunch of different options, and you can select from players' creations in the beauty album if you want to get some inspiration. And then once you've made your character, you can start the game, and you can start in 3 different locations. As a new player, you have the traditional experience of going through the zone world by world, which is the one I would recommend. That's the middle option. You go through and you play the game as it was when it came out, but you level faster. Or if you're returning, you can play through one of the newer expansions. And while you do all of this, you play on something called the Eternal Seasonal Realm, or the Eternal Seasonal Server, which is like a fast track. Every time you hit a milestone like level 5, level 10, you're given a bunch of rewards like items, upgrade materials, you're given mounts, you're given pretty much everything you need to progress through the game. And by the time you've played this for a couple of days with these new seasonal rewards, you'll be around level 60, you'll hit the soft cap on the levels, you'll have pretty decent gear to start getting into the end game grind and the end game progression. You'll have a bunch of upgrade materials, decent mounts. You'll be really set to start playing the game your way. Okay, so let's talk about why you should play Black Desert. What are its selling points? Why should you get into this game? First up, one of the main reasons is the combat. This has the most graphically beautiful and aesthetic action combat of any game on the market. Whether you're charging in as a warrior or a berserker, or you're throwing out fireballs on a wizard, the combat looks and feels incredible. And most of the gameplay will be like this, moving from pack to pack, leveling up, getting items, grinding the end game. Everything involves this kind of combat. The combat works with a combo system. So as you level up, you unlock new skills and you can put skill points into them, and they get more and more complex. So some have combos or like evolutions of the skill. So maybe you jump in with one skill and then you do like a big burst with its combo. And then as you hit, I think it's level 56, you can awaken your class, letting you use a new weapon and have a completely different playstyle and a completely new set of skills. So the skill ceiling on combat is really high, and much higher than I thought when I came in. I thought, this seems very simple, but it's not. The skill ceiling is huge, and some classes are very hard to play. Players pride themselves on how much gold they can make at certain grind spots because they can play their class so well. They can have so much uptime on their buffs, they can move around from pack to pack so fast, and they can just perform better than other people, even with the same gear. So I would say combat is the one thing that always brings me back to Black Desert. As soon as they announce a new class, no matter how burned out I am, I'm back. So definitely worth trying if you like action combat. Okay, the next thing to talk about is the life skilling system. If you like crafting, gathering, professions, there's a lot to Black Desert that you might really enjoy. The life skills in this game are like gathering and crafting professions. So hunting, cooking, sailing, farming, training horses, all these things are called life skills. And you can do everything on one account. So you can do them all. There's no limit, there's no cap, and they're really fun. You can go and get ships. You can upgrade the ship from like a small sailboat trailing along the ocean to a huge frigate with sails and cannons, and you can go hunt bosses and sea monsters. You can go get a wagon and train horses and breed them and try and evolve them into tier 9 horses like Pegasuses that can fly, or Doom horses like fiery horses that can fight. There's so many different life skills here, and you can keep progressing these forever. There is so much progression. You go through a skill system from like beginner to to skilled, to artisan, master, guru. There's like a levels as you go up, and they unlock different things, make you better at certain things. So if you're a cook, I believe as you get better at cooking and your cooking gear gets better, you can make the meals faster. There's a chance to make double meals or better quality meals. Being a really good trainer means there's a higher chance for your horse to learn new skills that levels up. If I ever get bored of the end game grind, or I just want a little break from the constant grinding, I'll just fall back onto professions for a while, and you can just do these life skills for a long time and have a lot of fun. Connected to this is the like the empire system, the node system. So every single area of the map is classed as a node. So all the different cities, all the little villages and towns and points of interest are called nodes. And all of these nodes you can invest into. So as you play the game more, you'll get more and more contribution, and you can use this to invest into these different nodes. Once you invest into a node, you could put a worker there. So you can get a worker, you can train a worker, and you can have it work at these different nodes. On top of this, you can invest into the cities, and you can buy buildings in the cities. So say you wanted to get into blacksmithing or creating horse armor, you can have workers that go and hit trees and gather lumber, or go to mines and gather metal, and then you can invest in a smith that can make horse armor. And then that can be your thing. You can be the person who makes really good horse armor for the market. You can also invest in, say, a personal residence, and you can go in and you can put stations for cooking, alchemy, things like that. Or you can just design it and have fun. There is so much you can do with this system that can tailor your playstyle. Maybe you have no interest in the professions at all. You don't do any life skills. You can just have workers go and farm stuff and sell it. I personally have, I really like the cooking in this game. So I have people that go and fish in Velia. They go and work on the farms and gather like potatoes and crops and wheat. And then I'll cook those all up into meals when I get on, which is just a really nice way to tailor your gameplay and complement the style of play that you enjoy. Okay, so we've talked about some amazing parts of the game and some really good reasons to play, but there are some problems. So let's talk about them. What are the big issues with this game? Why are the reasons that this doesn't have 100 million players? You know, why isn't this the best game in the world? First up, the RNG. Almost every single thing in this game leads to some sort of random chance of rolling, where you put in items and have a chance of success. So when you're upgrading a piece of gear, you have to use certain stones or crystals or some sort of in-game currency, and then you have a % chance for that item to upgrade. Now, as a newer player, you might be trying to upgrade a piece of gear and have a 90% chance of success. Maybe if you're upgrading it at the high end, it'd be like a 70% chance of success. But as you get into the end game and you get to the good, powerful gear, we're talking like a 3% chance of the upgrade working. And if you fail the upgrade, the item downgrades, and all of the items you put forward is lost. So you're left with a loss of items and a worse version of your gear. You can also invest more items to protect it so it doesn't go down, but that becomes even more expensive. So this is how you upgrade pretty much everything in the game, from combat gear, life skilling gear, gathering gear. If you're trying to make a dream horse, for example, you also do the same. You put in items and have a chance for it to work. Upgrading your pets to a higher tier involves combining those pets together, and there's a chance that they upgrade to a higher level, and they use the pets in the making. So all progression pretty much in this game leads back to a random chance system. The next issue in the game for a lot of people is the grinding. The end game of this game is grinding mobs. So what you see here, farming mobs in this rotation, this is how you level up. This is how you make gold. There's questing, but this is how you level up, and this is how you make gold. And this is how you find high-end items. So the end game progression is you go to a zone where your attack and defense is good enough to survive and clear well in that zone, and you'll farm mobs there. And you'll just farm and farm and farm until you make a lot of gold, and you can progress your gear. You level up, you get lots of gold, and you can progress your gear into a stronger version, or you can find better gear and upgrade it and replace your gear. Once you're stronger, you can then go to a higher level zone and farm those mobs, and they might drop more gold and better items. And that's the end game. That's the end game progression. So if you're looking for more of a theme park MMO, you know, you're looking for dungeons and raids where you team up with 8 people and you go in and you clear a raid and you go, oh, I just got my mythic chess piece, I'm done now, and I've got Biss. This might not be for you. This is pretty much like a forever grind. You're constantly grinding, and there's always something to progress. I personally love it. You never feel like you're done. You never feel like if you take 3 months off the game, you've missed a raid tier or you've missed a season. There's always progression. It doesn't go anywhere, and you can always leave it and come back. I really enjoy the solo progression of just chilling out and grinding, but it turns a lot of people away. A lot of people finish the season, they kind of get to this open sandbox experience and go, what now? I just grind mobs? Then what? then you grind more mobs. That's the end game. So if that's not for you and that just sounds terrible, then that's a problem. A lot of people love it. I do, but I get why you wouldn't. Okay, now another thing, if we're talking about the issue with the game, you can't hear Black Desert and not hear Pay to Win. They go side to side, hand in hand. A lot of people flat out refuse to play this game because they've heard it's pay to win. But is that justified? Is it a myth? Let's talk about it. Black Desert has a Pearl store that lets you buy a ton of cosmetic and non-cosmetic items. It leads more towards convenience items, in my opinion. You can buy like a tent that lets you access a shop outside of town. You can buy pets that give you small buffs and let you pick up items faster. You can buy boost scrolls to give you like more experience per hour kind of thing, and tons of other items that make things more convenient. If you take two people, one who dropped a ton of money in the Pearl store, has tier 4 pets, upgraded items, and one who doesn't, the cash shop Andy will progress faster. That's just how it is. Now, most things that are available to buy in the store also make it to the market. So people buy outfits, they buy pets, and they sell them in the market for gold. So not everything is exclusive to the store, and with enough time grinding, you can get that kind of stuff, but you can also buy it. So can you pay to progress faster? Absolutely, 100%, and it turns people away. When we say pay to win though, what are you winning in this game? That's not so clear, because the end game, as I say, is grinding. It's grinding in these different grind spots. And if you've dropped a ton of money in the cash shop, you can probably get to these end game grind spots faster. You could probably upgrade your gear faster. You could probably make more gold an hour and progress faster, and you can have a higher gear score faster. So you're paying to have a higher gear score, but you still got to grind. There's no escape from the grind. However, this is a PvP game too, and if someone has better gear than you, they can PvP you and probably beat you. So is this game pay to win? It is. You can pay to, if winning in PvP is how you win, it's pay to win. And if getting to an end game spot as fast as possible is winning, then this is again pay to win. I've played this game a lot, and I think the progression that you can achieve in the game and the items they give you from events, from the seasonal rewards, just from leveling and from grinding the grind spots, I think the progression is well paced. I think it's perfectly fine, and I feel like I'm progressing at a decent pace without ever opening the cash store. However, if you're trying to compare yourself to others and you're trying to be the best of the best and you're trying to compete with people, the game is pay to win. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is some huge changes that they've made to the game. Whether you're a new player worried that it's too late to start, or you've been away for a few years and you're thinking, is it worth coming back? I want to talk about some huge changes that might change your mind. 1, they've given out a free Dream Horse to new players. Dream Horses are powerful tier 9 horses. There's a Pegasus that can fly, a Doom Horse that can dash fast and deal fire damage, and a Unicorn that can buff you and can travel through the desert at normal speed. These Dream Horses are hard and expensive to get. As a new player, you get one for free, and having one makes traveling the map incredibly fast. It doesn't ruin the game because, there's 3 and you only get 1, and there's still tier 10 that you can work towards, so you're not getting the best in the game. But from crawling around as a new player when I joined on a tier 5 horse, going really slow up these mountains, to just zooming around on a Pegasus and flying around, your new player experience will be drastically more fun than mine was. Next up, teleporting. Black Desert has a huge map with tons of different cities. There's the aesthetic elf town of Grana to the west. There's the human towns and the capital in the middle. And then there's the massive deserts with their own cities in the east. So if there's a boss on the other side of the map, or you want to go to a quest somewhere, travel was incredibly slow. But if you jump into a teleport well now, you can just go to another major city instantly, and your horse goes with you. This is an absolute game changer. There are no cooldowns or restrictions on this, and it opens up the entire world. Combined with this, they've changed the storage systems, so every storage chest in the game is now connected. So when I played, warehouses were locked to their region. So if you had items in Grana and you wanted to process them or use them in the city of Calpheon, you had to go and fetch them or go and put them on a wagon and bring them up. Now you can freely move everything from all your warehouses at will, making the entire map just feel accessible. It's a huge quality of life change. I've now got gear in one place, upgrade materials in another, event items in another, and you can just manage your items all from one place, transport them freely, and it just feels so much easier. This week alone, they added a new pity system, so this just got added for upgrading gear. So if you fail to upgrade gear a number of times, it will auto upgrade. So say you're doing something that's say it's got like a 70% chance, and you fail it 6 or 7 times, it will auto upgrade. if you've got a really hard piece of gear that has like a 3% chance and you fail it, I don't know what the number is, maybe like 30, 40 times, it will auto upgrade. So it's kind of a permanent auto progression underlying the RNG that exists. It's a nice change. The RNG system still exists, but it's nice to have. So that's huge. And then the last thing is, this is coming out in this or next month. This month? I think it's coming out this month. There's a life skill overhaul coming in the next update, I believe, which turns life skilling into a family system. Overall, Black Desert is moving to a more and more new player friendly and convenient game. The game is still one of the most grindy MMOs on the market. It still has insane RNG and progression, but you can start a little further up the ladder, and your time playing, you can spend more time doing what you want to do and less time traveling and tied down by restrictions. So overall, should you play Black Desert in 2024? That's kind of the whole topic. I would say this game appeals to two types of people. One is people who like in-depth and intricate profession and crafting systems. The life skill system in this game is one of the best in the MMO genre. There is months to years of content here in all of the different life skill systems and all of the different ways to progress the life skill systems, combined with the node and worker system that complements it. You can easily play this both actively and AFK. There is so much you can invest your time into here that feels rewarding. So I would say if you're looking for something like that, you're looking to just be a character in a world, this is worth trying. Considering it's a game with it's got a box price and no sub, and they're always adding and progressing content, it's definitely worth giving a try. The next type of person I'd say this appeals to is someone who likes grindy endgame content. As I get older, I'm less and less interested in sitting in a Discord call with 10, 20 other people grinding an endgame raid and progressing it 3 nights a week. And I'm more interested in just having fun, just, turning my brain off, having fun and grinding and progressing and seeing my progress without relying on a group of other people on a schedule. And if you can relate to that in any way, this game is really rewarding. On top of this, the combat is some of the most fun and visually stunning combat in any game. It's hard not to enjoy this combat. It's so fun, it's so fluid, and every character feels different. It feels so much different going around as a corsair, riding on waves and throwing mermaids, than playing on something like a berserker where you charge in and just smash things. So if the combat interests you, that's another reason to play this game. I would say this is a niche game. It has a niche audience, but if you think you would enjoy it, I think you would. This is one of my favorite games. I always come back to it, and every time I do, I have so much fun. I would highly recommend the game, but it's not for everyone. It's a niche game and it has its problems. If you've got issues with the pay to win and the cash store, if you've got issues with the grinding at endgame, if you've got issues with the sandbox element and you want more of a direct linear progression where the game tells you where to go and the game tells you what to do and there's one path for your character, this isn't for you. This is a sandbox where you have to find your path. That's the review. The game is still good in 2024. It's still got as healthy player base as it has when I covered it a few years ago. And I'll be honest, it's better than then. It's got so much new quality of life changes that it's probably in the best state I've ever seen it. But yeah, that's it for the review. If this has helped, or if you've liked this style of review, consider subscribing for more. I make reviews on RPGs, MMOs, and guides for them too. So if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more. And if you've got anything to add, if you tried it, you're thinking about coming back, you have any questions, or you want to add to this from someone who's maybe played more than me, or you want to add to anything I've talked about here, let people know in the comments. That's it from me though. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.